my name is Josh Akers, creator and director of the Clones series.
Hi, my name is Edward Nadeau, and I played Detective James in A Josh Encounter.
My name is David Brinkley, and I was acting on episode 2 of the Clone series, A Josh Encounter. Now, the Clone series with Josh has definitely been a unique experience. This was my first time ever working with Josh on a film, and it was something amazing. Josh has created a unique storyline through this series, and has created a very unique set pattern of music, of storyline, of characters, and also been able to create unique people even though they are the same person played by himself. I very much so enjoyed my experience, and as all my further encounters with him on other such videos, and I hope to help him more in the future. Thank you, Josh, for the opportunity to help you on those videos.
Detective James was a very small role, but a necessary one. We needed someone in the series to inform Josh that there was no charges being pressed against him for the self-defense that he used against the other Josh. A Josh Encounter was a very small video in this big clone series, and it was a very surprising one too. The whole series was a surprise to us. There were no trailers given. It was just a huge surprise to me. I really like the Clone series because it's interesting, and I like the idea of all the different kinds of Joshes. I think at some points it can get pretty confusing. It creates more mystery and suspense. Detective James was a fun character to play because I got to dress up as like a older man with the beard and the trench coat, and that's all I really have to say about the character.
A Josh Encounter was not meant to be a continuation, let alone a sequel, because it's not a sequel. It is a loose continuation of What's With Those Clones, and I'm glad that it became the staple of the series to make an installment, a spin-off, an installment, and then a spin-off, and the cycle continues, because I think it gives you enough time creatively to make something that is clones incarnate, and then something that is a little less clones and a little more creative, that's different from the previous story. And this was really the last film where I didn't have the complete story in my head, but when I started working on Clones 2, that's where I had the inspiration for the story, and I scrapped the old storyline and created the new one. David and Edward were fun to work with. We had them on separate days, so that was an interesting experience. We had Edward over the most amount of time and David the least, even though it should have kind of been the opposite, but I do think they had equal amount of screen time, so they should have been over equal amounts of time. But I'm glad that it turned out the way it did. It's fine, and it's a fun little spin-off that is slightly connected to the original series. And David's performance in this, and how fun he was to work with for the first time, because this was his first Josh Akers Films collaboration, inspired me to invite him on to Amity Police Season 2, and he was great. His performance there was really good, and I can't wait to work with him again in any of his films or in any of my films, because he was the first filmmaker I collaborated with, because my friends aren't filmmakers. They're not really actors either. They're just friends, and they do this for fun, and I thank them for that. A Josh Encounter had 2 deleted sequences and end credits where I'm just saying thanks for watching the video, and David could recall how stupid that was, and I'm still recalling how stupid that was, so that's why we cut it. And there's another sequence that I think I'm going to recycle for a Clone sequel, because I don't want to spoil it and tell you what it was, because there's a chance I could still use it, and if I don't use it, then I'll tell you guys what it was later. But Josh Encounter was a really fun little side project to work on, and I'm glad that it paved the way in some aspects to how the series is made. And this was sort of my character staple, what I'm wearing right now, but then the Quicksilver shirt became the staple for what my character wears. So maybe you could see sometime in the future me wearing both of the shirts at the same time, like the Quicksilver shirt on top of this one. I actually want to see that now, because you guys would probably want to see it. It'd be kind of fan service, but I'm not ashamed of the first two Clones movies, but I'm not 100% proud of them either, because they could be better. But that shows you how much time a filmmaker can mature, because it had only been less than a year since I had made a Josh Encounter and Clones 2. So thank you guys for sticking along with the Clones journey, and I will see you next time.